we'll move on. And the last topic of the day we'll discuss is just a couple roster moves that the Lions have made recently. And first up, they waived undrafted free agent safety Jeremiah Dinson. They did activate safety Jalen Elliott from COVID reserve list. They also acted Romeo Okora from active NFI, which is good for Romeo, but unfortunately, Austin Bryant is still on the PUP list. The former fourth rounder, as we've discussed before, was supposed to be a huge part of our defensive line this year. And I know these training camp transactions kind of really mean nothing as we're just cycling through lower roster end spots that are probably not even going to make the team. But you and me have also mentioned earlier on previous episodes that it's possibly good to have cycled through so many players who kind of know a little bit about the system and know just kind of what's going on. So in case we have either tons of injuries or tons of COVID positive tests in the year, that we could bring some of these players back who already have somewhat of an understanding about our system. So I guess, how do you feel about these roster transactions and like Austin Bryant still possibly starting the year on PUP?
Right. Well, you're absolutely right that these lower level guys on practice squad, are actually much more important this year, and we want them to have a good knowledge of the scheme and the system.
Yep.
Austin Bryant on the pup list, again, concerning. We don't know how long he's going to stay on it. He could stay up to the first 6 weeks of the regular season or come off before the regular season starts. We don't know. Romeo Quara only be on NFI for 2 weeks. It was a very short stay. Very good news.
Yeah.
We're already concerned about our D-line depth, so having that be a short stay is really positive. I wonder if he had some kind of COVID issue pre-camp, because if he had COVID prior to camp starting, he can't be placed on the COVID IR list. He has to be placed on NFI, which is what he got placed on. And the 2-week time duration would be consistent with some kind of COVID-related issue. So that's just the theory.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's all speculation because we know Lions coaches and players don't really say much or give out any details on what exactly is going on. They just say, look at the injury report, and that's all we kind of have to go off of. So, yeah, again, we've talked about it a million times. It's Austin Bryant is supposed to be a huge deal, and we hope that he can come back. We hope that he can stay healthy, but it's just not good. Him missing these training camp reps. Again, he missed training camp all last year, and as so far, he's missed all training camp so far. So even if he can play, it's not good to be missing these type of reps and be missing that. Again, I know we mention it all the time, but last year that defensive line, they were all injured at different times, so they weren't able to play healthy together, and just not being able to get that chemistry with the defensive line being in there, it's not a very good start to a season.
Yeah, you're right about the reps. Time is ticking. Practice starts tomorrow. So this is sort of exciting. Strength and conditioning period is finally over.
Yep.
So this is when the reps start. So Austin Bryant has to get out there at some point.
Yeah, exactly. We really need to see that. We just have to hope the rest of our defensive line can actually step up and we can see a big improvement than we did from last year. So,
right. And earlier you mentioned about the Lions not liking to disclose stuff. Well, they had that big disclosure with Stafford's positive test a week ago. And some people had a question about the HIPAA privacy laws and how come Stafford's positive test got leaked. Well, HIPAA only applies to healthcare professionals. It doesn't apply to the employer. It doesn't apply to the coaches. It doesn't apply to Matthew Stafford telling his best buddy that he has COVID, and then his best buddy selling that information to Schefter or Tom Pelissero or anybody.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly how it got leaked. Tom Pelissero, I think, was the first one who reported it. We don't know who leaked it and how they get this kind of information. It'd be interesting to know these kind of details.
Yeah, they always just say insider information as quote unquote. So no one really knows exactly who that insider is or what necessarily qualifies them as insider.
Yeah. So we can't just blame the Lions for that leak. It could be anybody. It could have been Kelly Stafford that told somebody by accident. So we just don't know for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's good. Again, hopefully they can get this changed. We know that as a result of the Matthew Stafford, we talked about it last week, that they're changing the procedures now on how hopefully they're going to be going about the false positive, false negative results after the whole situation with Matthew Stafford. So, all right. It looks like that's going to do it for us today. Thanks everyone for tuning in again, and we'll see you again next time.